Thanks to anybody who's tuning in here on Facebook Live. We are in the village at an undisclosed location. And you see Vaseline Tower in the background, you kind of know where we are. My name is Deb Pierce, and I was asked by my good friend Ryan Lester to come down here and MC this and introduce a few important people here this evening. My good friend Ryan is running for Ward 25 or Toronto Centre as a councillor, and that's super exciting, right? Yes, excellent. Don't go anywhere. You're adorable, and I'm taller than you. That never happens. So Ryan and I, just to give you a little background before I introduce a speaker here, and then of course Ryan is going to come up and talk to you guys, and for those of you who don't know him, and for those of you tuning in live, you'll get to know what a great guy this is. I met him in about 2009 at Pride Toronto. I was on 103.9 Proud FM, and I was interviewing a friend of mine, and she's a big musician, Carol Pope. And Ryan came into the studio, and I was like, you're important, and you are a super wonderful lesbian, but you are a mover and a shaker. So I slotted him in because he was working with Pride Toronto, and they just decided to apply for charitable status. So I thought that was really, really, really important. And he also used to go by me on his rollerblades, and I would scream out, "Meals on Wheels!" So that's our history. I would like to introduce to you right now Dr. Louis Dimitrakopoulos. They are colleagues at the AIDS Committee of Toronto. So without further ado, Dr. Louis Dimitrakopoulos, please. I said it twice because I practiced it.
Thank you so much, Deb. So good evening, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. So my name is Louis Dimitrakopoulos. I'm a physician with a practice just a few blocks away from here. And I'm also the Vice President of Legal Aid Ontario, which is an agency that facilitates legal assistance for low-income Ontarians. Also, I'm the chair of the board for the AIDS Committee of Toronto. ACT, since 1983, has been working to reduce HIV infections in Toronto and promotes the independence, dignity, health, and well-being of people living with HIV and AIDS and those at increased risk of HIV. So it was at the board of ACT that I met Ryan quite a number of years ago, where we served together as directors. So we served at the board during a time where the agency was facing growing fiscal challenges to the point that it was threatening its existence. So very early on in our term, Ryan was the board director that challenged our assumptions and kept asking and asking and asking the difficult questions. So what I appreciated the most at the time was not Ryan's ability to calmly sort through the noise and the stress we were all under and ask those tough questions, but really was his ability to offer solutions that were articulate, well-founded, and his ability to build consensus around them. So we came out of a very difficult time, having made very difficult decisions in the organization, with a healthy, fiscally sound organization that continues and will continue to serve the community for many, many years to come. So I really have no doubt in my mind that it was Ryan's commitment to the organization, his ability to ask those tough questions, and his ability to articulate the next day vision that allowed us to be so successful. So it is that skill set that makes Ryan the ideal candidate to represent our community at City Hall. It is with proud enthusiasm that I support Ryan, and I ask you to do the same, as our best candidate for City Council.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, I guess you want to hear from Ryan Lester himself, so let's get him up with a big round of applause.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here as I officially launch my campaign for Toronto City Council. This is a very exciting day for me. And I want to start by thanking Deb and Louis for speaking, and thank Patrick for creating such beautiful artwork on display that you still have time to bid on. I also want to recognize that we're meeting on the traditional territory of Indigenous peoples dating back countless generations. and show respect for the role of treaty making in what is now called Toronto. You hear that kind of land acknowledgement a lot these days, and that's a good thing, because it's not just about inclusivity. It's about looking at our past, learning from it, and building a better future. And if we look at Toronto's political past, there is a lot to learn from. To start, we know that uncertainty is always a part of politics. There has been a lot of chaos lately around what our city council might look like and how many people might be on it. And politicians use that chaos and uncertainty to their advantage. And that's not unique to any political party or stripe. We know that the longer you've been in office, the better you are at twisting perceptions in not getting results for people. I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to learn from our past and do local community building differently. So first it was Ward 25, and now it may very likely be Toronto Centre. Boundaries on a map don't change much for me. I'm here for our neighborhoods, and I want all of you here to be a part of that with me. Looking around the room, it's great to see some familiar faces. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan Lester, and I have a bit of a reputation. But unlike most, this is a good one. I have a reputation for getting results, for setting goals with people and working hard to meet them, without drawing political lines, without creating grudges and vendettas. It's how I was able to lead the team to raise $10 million for Canada's first and Toronto's only counselling and emergency housing centre dedicated to homeless LGBTQ2 youth in this city. How I continue to create pathways to support for people while working with EGAL Canada Human Rights Trust and the AIDS Committee of Toronto, and now most recently as Senior Director at the Canadian Centre for Diversity and Inclusion. But between the lines of my resume, you'll see not just what I've done, but what I care about. I believe that to build a better life, people need the tools to do so. They need affordable housing, manageable commutes. They need to feel safe in their own community and find help when they call for it. And I can't stand by when these tools are held from people because leaders draw arbitrary lines in the sand. That's why I'm entering this race. Because progress isn't just a destination, it's a momentum. And too many candidates in our community are weighed down by years of political battles and grudge matches. I'm a first-time candidate, but like I said, I have a reputation for getting things done. So on October 22nd, let's get this win, let's do this, and then let's get to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Keep the applause going. Well done. Thank you. Ryan Lester. All right. So, the Cox is here too. So we're going to stop the Facebook Live now. So thanks. You want to say goodbye? Bye, everyone on Facebook.